Welcome to Global Morning.
Death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure. Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rates as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
When you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle with the ASIS strike.
Minister of Education volunteered and said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a lie. The president never gave me any deadline.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
You join us today on Global Morning. It's a beautiful day. I'm so excited, and the reason I'm excited is because every new day comes with good promises, if you really know. And one of the things that make people's days wonderful and beautiful is when they get connected to the right source that help them set the pace for the day. And that's exactly what we do on Global Morning, where we bring you to speed with the major headlines and bring to you very good and topical issues of national and international importance and relevance. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and of course, this is the Monday Tact Team. We're right here. I know every Monday a lot of our viewers are expectant, and that's exactly what's going to be happening today as usual. Jemima Manson is right here in the building, and of course she's looking very refreshed, as if this weekend was only meant for her. Good morning, Jemima.
Good morning, Ramsey and Okagbo. It's great to be here. Of course, it was a very beautiful weekend. Of course,
I can see it's obvious.
We try our best to look refreshed all the time. It's a beautiful Tag Team Monday, and it's great to be here. I am Jemima Manson, and like we said, a lot of happenings making round, talking about the bill, talking about individuals, all encompassed. We'll be talking about it in the course of the program. And of course, we have the newspaper review, we have the AM news on this segment of Global Morning. Well, Ramsey, how was your weekend?
My weekend was so beautiful. It was as if the weekend shouldn't finish again. But then we have to be here. It's necessary for us to be here so that we can keep our viewers informed, because you deserve the right to know, and that's exactly what we do. At least to an extent, Nigerians in some parts of the country can sleep with their 2 eyes open. Then in other parts of the country, there is still the fear of unknown, or the unknown gunmen. Over the weekend, we heard of some attacks in some parts of Nigeria, and my conclusion is, well, this is not something that can be wiped out in just a day. At least there are revelations tilting towards the fact that this terrorism could be a thing of the past any moment. But then I think we need to see the authorities stand tall on their feet to make sure this thing is being trashed to the latter. At least the problem known is half solved. If we can point at one or two persons to say, well, these people are sponsors of Boko Haram, which we've heard. This is not the first time we're getting to hear this. And in every rumor, there is an atom of truth. We've heard of individuals that were allegedly
connected.
What we hear, we're using the word allegedly because we never saw them being brought openly to the court of law to be tried for sponsoring terrorism as it was being alleged. But then I think underground assignments are going on. We are just waiting for when everything will be over. Then the fight in the People's Democratic Party. Every day you wake up and you feel like, hey, come on, everything, new things every day.
What's going on?
What's going on? You know, I don't know, it's becoming more like a drama, but the truth is this, if it continues like this, at a point, Nigerians will just get used to it. And if you hear of the People's Democratic Party anymore, you just feel, oh, it's one of those there, rantings and all of that. So as a matter of fact, let's just see what will happen from the People's Democratic Party. But the ranting, I know, will be over in a moment soon. But then you can't say.
No, you can't say, Ramsey. You know, a lot of people are beginning to say, okay, this is one of the reasons. This is how it is. Or maybe this is it, they'll get over it. Or this is one of those issues of political parties, individuals in political parties having loggerheads and all of that. I think Nigerians are beginning to get used to that fact. We're getting used to it. So it's not like it's anything new. Like when you said, well, oh, again. And that's how it is. And slowly, people will start losing hope because if a lot of people defect from that party and you wonder, the people in which I am like holding on to that will actually hold my voice are no more in that political party, then what's the use of being a supporter of the PDP? So unfortunately, let them get their act together when it comes to issues so that they will have that standing when it comes to ruling Nigeria. That's if they come up in 2027, which quote unquote, let's see, it's just my Manson just saying.
That's it. No, you're on track. That's the truth, because not just the People's Democratic Party. It's so bad that even the Labour Party, NNPP, and every other party that's supposed to gang up to form an opposition are relaxing. And of course, APC stakeholders are already making statements and assumptions of what is going to happen in 2027. You know, I keep saying this, that every political office holder, the first day they get into office, that same day they start preparing for the next election. I think this is unfolding gradually, looking at the statements that came from the All Progressive Congress, I don't know, stakeholder, because the person who made that statement is actually a stakeholder. That statement that has to do with the North, all right, and all of that. A lot of people are already reacting to it.
Oh yes, a lot of people
are reacting to it, but then
it's not sitting there with a lot of people.
A lot of people
are reacting to it. But let's see, like you said, things are unfolding day by day. Let's just see how well it is. But the People's Democratic Party should realize that this is like an upper edge for other political parties to say, okay, fine, these individuals are serious-minded, or what is actually going on? They cannot create that alliance to work together, and yet you want to rule Nigeria. So it's just, can you say this is a strategy? I don't think so. It's a very bad one.
Politicians, if not because of the accusation of corruption, or maybe the alleged corruption cases, politicians are very intelligent people. You know, they know how to plot their graph. If you're not smart, you can't be a politician. That's the truth. And every politician that is not smart doesn't go far. They don't go far. The ones that are not smart don't go far. So these people are very...
Smartness are we talking about? Is it the criminal smartness or...
No, that's
you know your way around.
Planning how to take advantage of situations. Someone will tell you, hey, this region, this is what I need to do to get the people. At least this person has been in politics for a while. I think I need to align with this person. I saw when the president, you remember what's happening, El-Rufai had been making statements. All right. And of course, the statements he's been making is not sitting well with the All Progressive Congress. And some persons have even named him among people that may be fronting in 2027. But the president, I saw in the papers online, the president wishing him happy birthday. So that's what it is. People people who know how to do these things, just the people at the grassroots that say, okay, this one is my enemy, that one is my enemy.
No,
the real politicians don't have enemies. And that's why you see them recamping. And everyone recamping from the PDP to APC or every other party have given reasons why they are defecting.
Very true.
And you can't hold them to it because it is glaring. The handwriting is plain on the wall. Everyone can see what is happening. So you can't really hold them to it.
So it's just unfortunate that most individuals in the society actually think that these politicians are enemies, because that was what it was. As, okay, fine, I'm in this party, I'm a supporter of this supporter, but on the ground, or will I say behind closed doors, they know what they do. They attend meetings, they eat together, they laugh and look at us like, what is wrong with these people? Who is telling you that we're fighting and all of that? But at the same time, it's just a game. They say politics is a game. Some people add dirt to it. They say it's a dirty game, but I beg to differ. If you have the right minds and you know what you're doing, I think it could be a very positive means to a very great end. Well, at the same time, let's just hope and see what this actually brings to the table, and we hope that all of these will unfold pretty soon, right, Ramsey?
Yeah, that's true. You know, one of the lines caught my fancy when you said some people say politics is a dirty game. And let me tell you this. This is part of the reason some persons have run away from politics, and they allow just a particular set of people, all right, rule the nation, rule the country, and they keep complaining. Go try your luck. Instead of just allowing a particular set of people contest all the time.
You know, sometimes
because some people said it's a dirty game, I don't want to go there, but you can go and make the difference.
Because it has a lot to do with your conscience. Some people will actually close up their conscience to actually get what they want. So that's why in some individuals will run away from it, and like you said, they'll run away and yet they complain. But you have to do the needful. Like you said, try and see where, if you can make it better, you can do better as an individual. You don't have to go down that road. You don't have to demean yourself to that. You can actually make a difference.
It's possible.
A positive difference, that is. Well, that's it. We have to get ready for the newspaper review.
Yeah.
It's Global Morning. Do not go anywhere. Stay tuned. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Morning on Global Television. Thank you for staying tuned. And at about this point is a newspaper review segment, and I will be starting with the first paper of the day. It is the Blueprint newspaper, and above the nameplate of the Blueprint newspaper it says Nigeria opposes move to split AU's Department of Political Affairs, and below the nameplate there it says North, the star story there says North support for Tinubu in 2027 unshakable. And the rider there says, President's investments reform in the region, massive. And then it says, Shehu Sani, Yero, others, defection, when will APC support base? And here it says, let's stay back for our challenge, PDP members. And here it says oil production now 1.7 MBPD to hit 2.7 MBPD by 2026, and that's NUPRC. And it says tension in Osun local government chairman now refers to councils today. Umbasani Matawali Arewa think tank. And that's it on the Blueprint newspaper. Please go out and get yourself a copy to be well informed on the issues making round.
All right, from there, let's quickly look at the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Of course, a lot of stories making round on the Vanguard newspaper, beginning from this one. Above the nameplate, federal government to engage 28,000 Nigerian health workers on USAID payroll. I think that's as a result of the rumor making run. Well, whatever comes out of it, or if you need to get the details of that, just pick a copy of the Vanguard newspaper and go straight to page 32. This one says the state of the nation, that's the kicker, how politicians' weaponization of poverty hurts Nigeria. How politicians' weaponization of poverty hurts Nigeria. This is Archbishop Ugoji speaking right there. Details on page 28. Okay, this one says Adebanjo, burial may hold in May. That's coming from the daughter. Now to the big story on the Vanguard newspaper. Trump's energy policy. Federal government's 19.6 trillion naira revenue target under threat. I take that again. Federal government's 19.6 trillion naira revenue target under threat. We have some riders to that story, and the first rider says diaspora remittances. Forex budget will be impacted. That is CPPE that is saying that. Another rider to the story says USA oil impact over dramatized. This one is coming from Nasima. Then economic diversifications, the way out. That's just the way out according to Andori. Then more say coming from the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Another major headline here is PDP APC biker over party's international crisis. All right. Will PDP recover from its leadership problem? That's the only rider to that story, and details you can find on page 16. We've talked about that a little before we got started.
Yes, we
that's to tell you that everything we talk about here is actually what's making run. APC and PDP. The fight has been on, and it's part of the opposition. That's how it happens gradually, and we will keep talking about this until 2027. But then, with the PDP, will they ever recover from the leadership crisis? Because it is not one-sided. Before we finish talking about the fact that there is a faction in PDP, the G5 governors, then the Damagu fashion and the rest of them. Before we finish talking about that, we will start having leadership crisis of having two national secretaries in the People's Democratic Party. And it's so funny that these two individuals, Okoye and his counterpart, actually have people who are backing them. Even though the court have said this person should be the secretary. Some individuals in the People's Democratic Party are still saying, you can be the secretary, but you are not our secretary. And it's so bad that the National Working Committee is even divided because of this. So if the National Working Committee is divided and they are not in unity, how can they ever work together? What about the BOT, the Board of Trustees? everyone is just having a faction. I don't see PDP coming together anytime soon, but anything is possible. This is politics.
Yes, it is. Like you've mentioned, anything is possible. This is politics. But I think some individuals are having a field day with this. A lot of people that feel that the party has nothing to offer, nothing to hold anymore, they're having a field day. But like I said, everything will continue to unfold pretty soon. And next is the Nigerian News Direct, and above the nameplate it says here, NCC, in their words, it says a toothless watchdog or silent accomplice in telecom exploitation. And you can find that read on page 3 on the Nigerian News Direct. And it says UBA Group donates $500,000 to boost Africa's peace security. And it says below that, it says uncertainty in global oil prices threatens 2025 budget. CPPE warns. Now, defection influx. Kaduna governor welcomes ex-governor Yero Shehu Sani Eliya Hakui, others to APC. And it says tanker accident, 60,000 capacity tanker not responsible, warns against 300 billion naira investment losses. That's Netro there. And below the nameplate of the Nigerian News Direct, the Star Story there says local government crisis. Oshun APC Governor Adeleke fight dirty over appeal court ruling. And it says there are 3 writers there, and the first one says, I choose to alert nation before my people are killed. Adeleke blows heart. And the second writer says, illegal public holiday won't stop our chairman from resuming. Oshun APC. And here it says, as NLC directs workers to withdraw service in Oshun local government. And basically that is it. And let's see, like we spoke about this defection influx, and we see all of the figureheads who are running into APC, who have defected into APC. Let's just see what that brings. Basically, my fingers are crossed to see what this will bring, but these are powerhouses that are actually defecting to the APC. Why is that smile on your face right now?
Politics in this part of the world, that's where, Nigerians can celebrate when they see good election, good politics. They can celebrate, clap for them and all of that. I remember what happened after the Ghana election, what happened after the United States election. But then, why can't we have the same thing back here at home? These people defecting, they are defecting because of personal interests.
Of course.
Because of what they want to get in 2027.
Exactly.
I remember that statement during the budget. You are all automatically, there's a statement that came from the presidency, that at the National Assembly, that everyone here right now is already part of, you know what I'm talking about?
No, we don't.
You don't know what I'm talking about? The lawmakers, that Nigerians feel it was an automatic ticket for 2027. That's politics, So everyone defecting, right now they have their reasons why they are defecting. But if you ask them, they'll tell you it's because PDP is not doing well.
Exactly.
And they have a career to pursue, because some persons are looking at politics as a career, which is not.
And they look at, yes, which is not.
Politics is not a career.
But you know what, Ramsey, with this defection, what does it tell you? That 2027, we already know in everyone's mind, but we don't know. God has the. I always say, if God will never allow anyone He doesn't want to be in power, He will always allow it. So in everyone's mind, 2027 is going to bring what administration back. I'm not saying anything, but with all of this defection that is happening, it's just puts.
When you say bring back, it means an administration that has been there.
Exactly. So maybe for people to defect, who knows? But another story that caught my eye on the Nigerian News Direct is NCC. It says a toothless watchdog or a silent accomplice in telecom exploitation.
Well,
this is a very serious issue because it affects you and I. I'm surprised. There's this particular network that I'm using. The next thing you know, I subscribed, and 3 days later, I do not have data anymore. What's going on?
The problem is much. You recharge like 1,000 naira, and you are getting a very small talk time. you do transactions. That's for telcos. Then you come to the financial institutions. It's something else. So I don't know. It's like this administration so far, if you ask Nigerians, what they will tell you is that this administration, what Nigerians are saying, not me, not you, not Global Television, but what Nigerians are saying is that this administration has come to rip them off of the little that they have. Despite the challenging economy, people are struggling to feed. Then you pay so much. Don't even be surprised that the people who are supposed to pay for these things may not even be paying as much as the average Nigerians are paying.
You know, Ramsey, it's just unfortunate that we see ourselves in this sort of situation. A lot of Nigerians have said that this administration have come to rip us off. Like you said, it's not us, it's what is making rounds. I think we need to do a vox pop so individuals out there will be sure that this is what it is. A lot of people are saying the exploitation is too much when it comes to telcos, electricity tariff, and then all of these things in
everything.
And a lot of people are going through a lot, and most people cannot even feed 3 times a day. Once it's even a problem. And then you come up with this hike and you come up with this increment. It's really taking a toll on so many homes in Nigeria. A lot of people are not finding, some husbands are actually abandoning their families because they cannot put everyone together, they cannot feed. It's just unfortunate that this is what it is. And it's just unfortunate that something really needs to be done about this.
ASAP.
I hope it's not like the fuel issue that we had with fuel. You know what happened with fuel, and everybody was like, no, it cannot be 1,000 naira. How? It's not possible. And it got to that point, and we all said, okay, well, that's what it is. I hope we won't relax on this telecom issue.
Like a joke. See,
like a joke.
Please, Nigerians are trying to say, well, we're not asking for too much. Let the price of this commodity reduce. There's fuel.
Food.
Fuel, for instance,
yes.
But instead of it reducing, it got up there.
Yes, it did.
Then food. You don't need to talk about food. Are you still talking about food? Nigerians are already feeling like, well, we are in the dungeon. We are in the mouth of the lion. Everything can happen. It will. And I think that's one of the things this administration has ever promised, and they keep saying it. Some economists are saying, well, we are on track, but then let's see how all of this will end. But the bottom line is that Nigerians are sweating blood. Really? Nigerians, in fact, like you said, people cannot even have 1 square meal. And then they can't afford it. It's not a pretense.
They can't.
It's not a pretense.
It's not you can eat 3 square meals in
it's a luxury.
Household. And then the thing is, Ramsey, another thing is, I know the economic, they keep saying that we're on track. Impact. We need to feel the impact.
That's it.
You're telling us you're on track with all of these big figures. Most people do not understand what you're talking about. The only time it will ring a bell in their head is when they go to the market and they see a change in price, where they look at their phones and the data is still there, and the bonus in which these telcos companies say it's there and they can actually use it, because they just put all these, you have 2 point something, whatever, and it's falsehood.
There's a service provider that I started ignoring them lately.
No, I don't know.
Because they can give you 100 gig.
Nothing.
And you won't be able to use 1 gig out of it. So of what importance is it?
No importance at all. It's just unfortunate though.
This.
The next paper around here.
All right, let's quickly jump to the Punch newspaper and see what's punchy today. We've spoken so much, and it's so good that we have to speak the minds of Nigerians, because we are right there to bridge the gap. On the Punch newspaper this morning, above the nameplate, OPEC foresees lower Dangote refinery petrol price. Is that a good news? OPEC foresee lower Dangote refinery fuel price, petrol price. I don't know if you saw the drama that played out over the weekend, even before the weekend, the issue of, all right, NNPC said, well, the fuel adulterated, it's Dangote, it's not us, it's this. Now, you keep hearing this. We never heard all of this when we're still importing this product.
No, we didn't.
But right now, a lot going on. What Nigerians just want to hear right now is that fuel is now 500 naira.
300,
like
some people are waiting.
300. Someone in the studio had to. Well, but then,
really?
See, is it not possible?
You know why we're laughing?
What came to your mind when you said 300?
Like
I was even saying 500. She said 300. Is that because I know you buy this product almost every day.
Oh my God.
So what's your mind is 300?
Oh my God.
You didn't even talk of 500.
What are you saying? We make this this particular product home. We have all our.
No, it's possible.
Here. So what are we saying? We're not importing anything outside Nigeria. It's all here. We all have it here. So if it's 300, I don't think it's bad.
It's actually possible. This way I say it's possible. If Dangote refinery is up and doing, Port Harcourt refinery is up and doing, Warri refinery is up and doing, and Kaduna refinery is up and doing. What are we talking about? Then the price of dollar and what's happening at the international market will not be affecting us back here anymore. But these actors, the game players, wouldn't want that. They wouldn't want that because their profits will reduce. That's where the problem is. Remember, the elite of the elites, the cabals, they are always there. But then I think one thing is this: we need to put Nigeria first. Like Donald Trump will always say, Americans first. We need to put Nigerians first. We're not saying anyone should be poor. If you want to be wealthy, let it not be at the expense of the average Nigerian, because the ordinary. Well, I wouldn't want to say this, but then if Nigerians are not angry, it will be better for all of us. But if the average Nigerians go hungry and they keep crying, all right, and people keep losing their life as a result of hunger, and someone is out there having so much in his bank account, foreign bank accounts, monies that they don't even touch, it's not a good one. We all need to know that we are all Nigerians. Well, let's see if that happens. From OPEC, it's going to be a good one. I said 500. She said 300.
You don't have to emphasize what I said. It's okay.
No, it's good. I love it. I love it. I want Nigerians to also go on our social media platform and drop how much they want it to be.
Really, you should go up on our social media platform, really, and just tell us.
And you can actually download the app.
Yes, you can. The app, you can actually download the app on your iOS device, App Store, Play Store, and then of course just go and click Global Television, download, and hey, you can just watch us at this moment anywhere around the world.
Global Television Nigeria.
And you'll be shocked that some people might even say 150.
Please, I'm eager. Please get there and drop your comments. We will take it. We'll take them. We'll take your comments.
Talk about
yes, do that.
I'm surprised. A lot of people
150.
150. Somebody
wow, what a good country. I pray. I just pray. At least dollar is stabilizing a little bit.
Oh, yes,
and that's good.
That's
stabilizing a little bit. But then it has not translated to goods and services.
Exactly. That's what
the price of goods and services.
Like the average Nigerian would tell you, okay, fine. How is it affecting me? Like if I go to how is it affecting me? Like really, the average Nigerian. It's for businessmen and all of that, bureau de change individuals that this particular aspect really affects. But you know, the average Nigerian will tell you they're saying the naira is the dollar is, you know, and all of that. When you talk about the naira and of course the dollar, but at the same time, I've mentioned the impact in which it will make to the average Nigerian. I will say that because we are the masses. It's our country, and these are individuals who are much more when you talk about issues like this. But well, it is what it is, and it will get better. Right?
It is what it is. I think I like the last line. It will get better.
It will get better.
Borno missing children rise as Boko Haram steps up recruitment. That's another problem right there in recruitment. When people are, when people are hungry, they are easy. You can conscientize them easily when you give them food. Today you give them food, tomorrow you give them food, next tomorrow you give them food. Whatever you say, they believe that's the truth. All right. Well, we just pray the authorities do something about it. Ensure fairness in deporting Nigerians. Federal government tells the United States of Nigeria, we're being made to understand that 3,690 Nigerians are on the radar of deportation, looking at the immigration policy of the new president of the United States of America. We're still waiting. NIDCOM says they are ready to receive them. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs are also ready to receive them. But then how can they actually get into the society and familiarize and get their lives back again? Then can we say all these people are illegal migrants, or there are other things to it? I think that's part of the reason why the federal government this morning is telling the United States of America that they should ensure fairness in the deportation process. Now to Edo State. Edo to petition EFCC as panel alleges 96 billion naira fraud under Obaseki. We'll talk more about that probably. Maybe during the conversation we may talk about that a little bit, because so much is happening in Edo State since the election. Telco's tariff hike, that's the big story. And of course the star story on the Punch newspaper this morning: federal government deploys security agents as NLC insists on protests. A federal government deploys security agents as NLC insists on protests. What are they protesting for? You get to know that when you pick a copy of the Punch newspaper and just one right to that story, and it says protests will be hijacked by miscreants, says NSCDC spokesman. Subscribers oppose Labour's move. Well, let's see. Telco tariff hike. We've talked about that already. Then this one says, Alofin, that's the kicker, or your prince, ask court to sack Owode Adebanjo, Adibure Anyoku Osibanjo Obi, ex-governors, attend commendation service. And finally, from the Punch newspaper, local government crisis, that's the kicker. Adeleke Oyetola trade words, Labour suspends services. Details of that you can actually find on page 41 of the Punch newspaper as we move to the next paper.
All right, the next paper on the newspaper review segment is The Nation. And above the nameplate, it says Tamboa under fire for attacking APC defectors. And still on the side of the Nation newspaper, it says here, the Central Gaming Bill, an open letter to the National Assembly leadership. You can find that on page 10. And below the nameplate, it says average cost of telephone call now 138 naira per minute. That's a lot. 138 naira per minute. Are we going to revert back to letter writing?
Gradually. Apart from letter writing, I think, but then all of this you need to use data. I'm not talking about maybe resorting to email, because in some organizations they use email most times. But then the data is also expensive.
Very expensive.
Data is also expensive. But then gradually I think Nigerians may devise a means.
Of course.
May devise a means. But then we shouldn't just fold our arms. NCC shouldn't fold their arms and allow this happen. We remember what happened during when I don't know, a satellite service provider that came from the South African were exploiting Nigerians. Then in South Africa, you know how it is, and in other parts of Africa. But Nigeria, it's so expensive. It's not pay as you go. They give you what they want, and at the end of the month, they take it back. Just like the way these telcos are doing. So all of this put together is adding to the hardship, to the challenging economy. Nigerians are going through so much. So something should be done. That's 100 and something. 38. Oh my God. That's 150.
Then I wonder how much is it to send a text message. You know, it was 4 naira before, so I wonder.
I think now it might be 10 naira. I don't know.
10 naira. It's just unfortunate. This is what it is. And then, of course, you can find that read on page 15. And the writer there says data reads yet to change. It's still the same. And it says public-private sectors raise 8 trillion naira from capital market. And you can find that news on page 5. And it says 96 billion naira fraud, sacked Edo local government chiefs for EFCC probe. You can find that read on page 7. And it says battle rages between PDP, APC over Osun Council chairman. And you can find that read on page 7. 201 Nigerians head for home on Trump deportation order. And there are 2 riders there, convicts among first batch of 85 on way to Lagos. Envoy drop box policy not suspended. And they said convicts among those that will be deported home. 201 Nigerians head for home on Trump deportation order. So I think maybe it has to do with individuals that have broken the law, who have been arrested not once, not twice. You know, when they say America is it's God's own country, it's freedom for all. Some that have decided that, okay, because they're in America, even when they're not from that country, they can do what they like. And they tell you they go out, they commit these illegal fraud when it comes to burglary, when it comes to, you know, all of these things. I think most of these are the people that will be mostly affected, especially those in the prison cells are the ones that will be mostly affected by this. Not the ones that are hardworking. Some will tell you they're hard workers.
One thing, Nigerians
business who are not in prison. So, because I know a lot of Nigerian families are apprehensive because some of them, their breadwinners are there abroad, sending money home, that work really hard for their money. So I don't think those. I think this, since it's going to be a fair game, just those that have been convicted of crime, those that have been in illegal issues in America, I think those are the ones that will really be affected by all of this.
Illegal migrants.
Illegal migrants.
If your migration is not legal, if you're an illegal migrant, or maybe you've been convicted in the United States and they look at you as a threat, maybe people like that could be facing the wrath of the law. So it's not going to be everyone, because I know of people who are doing well right there, who own institutions there. I know someone from Edo State who own an institution there. I know of someone, one of my guests that I've hosted on my programs here, who is a doctor there that lectures in their school and all of that. So there are people that are not even feeling the heat, but the illegal migrants who move from one place to the other, who hide in churches, in schools, all right, and for that reason they were untouchable because of the law. But right now Donald Trump has said, well, sweep the churches, sweep the schools, sweep the hospitals where these illegal migrants hide. And so now there might not be a hiding place for illegal migrants, but all the same, if they can temper justice with mercy and give them the opportunity to regularize, because some of them might be in the process of getting it, and something happened and they couldn't get to the end. If anything can be done for them to regularize and become citizens and legal migrants, it will be fine. But then, you know, the United States, we're talking about the United States here, these are not places that the law is bendable. These are not places that the judicial system can be tilted, you know, like it has been alleged in some parts of the world. So anything is possible.
Anything is possible, and there are some Nigerians there who have actually, they have houses, they've rented apartments, and they're doing really well for themselves. But I all the same, like I always say, like there's nothing God cannot do. God will not, like the good books will say, the gift of God maketh rich and added no sorrow. Some that have been able to jackpot and they've stayed there for years, and like you said, in the process of getting their papers, they couldn't, something along the line happened, and they're about to get their papers. I don't think those individuals will be affected. It's just what you said, those that are not even serious with their lives, who act like beggars on the road. Some Nigerians, I know someone who says some Nigerians prefer to be in prison because some of their prison cells is comfortable. It has a bed, they don't have to worry about themselves.
That's the good of Nigerians. Don't go commit crime because you want to get into prison and be fed. Go and work. At least, even if it is 2 hours in a day, you get paid.
So please, most families are really afraid when it comes to individuals who will be deported home and all of that. Just keep hope alive and know that everything's
that's true.
Keep hope alive, and at the same time, what are they coming home to? Basically, look at where we are in the country. I'm not saying, don't say Juma will say this, Juma will, but the truth is, we should keep hope alive. We should be hopeful that Nigeria will get better. I know Nigeria will get better by the special grace of God. But these individuals who are coming home, it's going to be, I hope it won't be a serious problem for us here in Nigeria, because, you know, the frustration attached to now with this telecom that we're dealing with electricity tariff ban, A ban B. They don't even understand what's ban, A ban. We have to, you know, please, please just have mercy and just leave them there. But I believe everything is going to be fine by God's grace. And still on the Nation newspaper here, it says Osibanjo, Ayoku, Adeboye will be others at Adebanjo's house. And Yaro Hakui's why we dumped PDP for APC. Well, you can find that read on the Nation newspaper. Go out and get yourself a copy and be well informed on the news making round. Perhaps you're next.
All right, so let's quickly look at the next point of call right here, and which is the next point of call, the Daily Times. Let's see what's on the Daily Times for us today. On the Daily Times, we have, okay, I think what I have here is, all right, let me just, after the Nation, let me just look at the Guardian instead of the Daily Times. All right, the Guardian says, Adeleke PDP edge Tinubu to caution Oyetola others against mayhem. Details on page 5. Then this one say oil vandals stealing 155,000 barrels as host communities get 78.8 billion. All right, oil vendors. I don't know. Before now, the NSCDC were in charge. They were protecting the pipelines. But recently, we started hearing about vendors, and you know how much has been lost when these pipelines are being vandalized. Well, I think more needs to be done in the area of security. Now to page 4. Alleged $150 million Binance bribe. That's the kicker. Heather wants accused lawmakers probed. Because, so really? Do you know that some persons, you know, sometimes some of the things we see on social media, some persons will say, okay, well, this is just social media rant and all of that. But then some of it, all right, is coming to play right now. You remember when Naira was getting to 2,000 Naira to $1? Some persons were like, hey, there are people behind this. You know, Nigerians, there are people behind this. Some persons are making money out of it and all of that, you know, until it came down. Now we're talking about Binance here, which is not something that is very, very accepted in this part of the world. Then we are getting to know that some lawmakers are being accused, all right, of some bribe allegation, money that has been collected and all of that. So if they have been probed, please, the probe should be made open so that every other person can learn. That's what it means. The issue of, all right, panel being set up behind closed doors and all of that, let them be shamed, especially if that they are public office holders. We shouldn't feel like, all right,
we should protect them.
Nothing, if it is wrong, it is wrong.
It is wrong. And just to add to what you've said, and that is why most foreigners come to our country and they do what they want, because they feel that they can actually use money and get away with whatever crime or whatever they do here. They can get away with it. They feel that we are, what is it? After all, it's money they're looking for. They have no integrity. And these are lawmakers.
Do you know how much $150 billion is?
Seriously.
Billion.
This is, well, although as you said, allegedly.
Allegedly.
But the truth is, for every rumor there's an atom of truth. He boldly came out and said he paid this sum and he paid this amount. And they were
probably has a proof to it.
Of course.
Oh my God! Lawmakers?
Like seriously, we just wonder and we sit down and we say there is no law in this country. It's because some of these individuals who are lawless are actually in position, and it's just unfortunate that this is where we are in this country. And like you said, it should be probed out in the open. Let us see, bring all the evidence, and then we'll know what's going on. And for this to happen, it's just unfortunate that these lawmakers have actually done this.
Lawmakers.
Really, it's just unfortunate.
Well, except otherwise proven, it is still an allegation. But then I think Nigerians need to get to the root of this.
Of course, we know.
All right, I will try and speed up right now. The big story on the Guardian newspaper said, despite 7.2 trillion naira subsidies, power sector inefficiency take toll on consumers despite the money spent. Well, I don't want to talk about the power sector because it's going to take all the day. It's going to take all day. I just don't want to talk about it. Maybe in one of our programs we'll talk about it when we have an expert in the house. This one says 2027, Tinubu gets more northern backing as Labour Party pass over Igbo presidency. Then a court rejects family's bid for interim administrator of Wigwe's estate. U.S. policy shift leave AGOA diaspora remittance hanging. And of course, finally from the Guardian newspaper this morning, federal government vows probe into hoarded relief materials at FCT IDP camp. Details of that you can find on page 8. I heard that story that people hoard relief materials sent to internally displaced persons, and I was even surprised. What an injustice. Somebody who is displaced, what other Nigerians have volunteered, or maybe the government, to give to them, then somebody else is going to hoard it, just like they did to the palliative that time.
That's why I was going to interject and tell you that is not news anymore. This is what we see. So
but this is bad.
Some individuals actually hoard particular relief materials to in the IDPs. It's just unfortunate. That is what it is. Some individuals are just, I don't want to be too harsh to say greedy, and I don't want to say
it's greed. You can't run away from it.
But that is what it is.
Greed.
These are relief materials for individuals who are displaced. They don't have anything in their name. They actually hold on to the support of Nigeria and Nigerians. They do not have a roof over their head. It's what the government has provided for them. Their clothes, in fact, their life has been turned upside down, and just relief materials to just give them that breath of fresh air. One person or some persons will just hoard these relief materials without a conscience, without any fear of God. It's just unfortunate that this is what it is, and we've seen issues like this. So I don't know why Ramsey is surprised, because we've heard.
I thought they might have
learned. Remember the politics with the rice?
With the rice, yeah, some gospels.
And a lot of people were going hungry.
You see, this country, you hear that crocodile swallow money, monkey swallow money, palliatives left in a store, gospels, while people are wallowing in poverty and hunger. Now it is this meant for IDPs. This is not putting us in a good light on the global map.
No, it's not at all. But maybe by God's grace and intervention, and let's just get to the roots of it. I'm glad all of these things are being exposed.
Yeah, I think that's the good news. That's the good news.
Who are representing us, or will I say our mouthpiece. I'll just take the last paper on the newspaper review segment because of our time, because up next is the AM News. And I'll just go with the Daily Independent. Let's just see what stories they have for us. And above the nameplate says Nigeria rejects plan to split AU Political Affairs Peace Security Department. And it says Sirap gives CBN 48 hours to withdraw ATM fee hike. Well, that's good news.
That's good news. That's if it happens.
That's if it happens, but it's good news. At least it's something. And then, of course, the star story there says 2025 budget, 28.1 trillion naira fiscal deficit, debt servicing burden may dwarf performance. Not so good news there. And it says Tinubu urges joint maritime task force to boost Gulf of Guinea security. And you can find that read on page 7. Below that it says PDP dismisses allegations of forgery of primary election guidelines. And you can find that read on page 7 of the Daily Independent. Besides that, it says fundraising Enugu Security Trust Fund rakes in 3 billion naira. You can find that read on page 29. APC sweeps Castina local government polls. Page 7 is where you find that read. Angry youth set Ondo police station ablaze. Now that's where I get angry with some of our youths. You burn down police stations. How you can pass your message in a civil manner without causing destruction? You need the police station. What if something happens and you want to take someone to the police station? You see, that's just the first. People just feel that once they are not, they do not have that satisfaction of maybe laws that are being passed or issues going around in a particular state. They go and they just burn down police stations. They burn down cars. No, that's not the answer. You're just causing more harm than good. Please, let's move away from that. You can pass your message in a very civil manner without all of that. And here it says, tension in Osun as SAC local government chairman councillors plan return to office. And the writer says Osun NLC asks members to stay off their offices. And basically that is all on the Daily Independent. Please go out. Okay, there's one more story at the foot. It says, WAEC releases November-December 2024 exam results, records 58.64% pass. And that's it on the Daily Independent. Please go out and get yourself a copy and be well informed. Well, go out and get yourself a copy and get all the newspapers and be well informed. Up next is the AM News on Global Television. Stay tuned.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AM News on Global Television. It's coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Jumai Manson. Now, quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free to air on Nigersat. You can download the Global TV Nigerian app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of
Apologies for that very short break. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo has hinted that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, will prosecute some of the recently impeached Edo State local government chairman, indicated for allegedly looting local government treasuries amounting to over 95 billion naira. He stated this position while receiving a report on the administrative panel of inquiry set upon 18th December 2024 to investigate the financial dealings of impeached 18 local government chairmen that served from 4th September 2023 to November 2024. The surprising impeached local government chairman, the report is said to have indicated former Governor Godwin Obaseki, leaders of fractional People's Democratic Party, PDP, and others. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SEAP, has urged Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, to use his leadership position to immediately withdraw what it called the patently unlawful and unreasonable increase in automated teller machine transaction fees. The organization urged him to ensure that the exercise of CBN statutory powers and functions does not inflict misery on poor Nigerians and contribute to human rights abuses. Governor Mbasani of Kaduna State has assured the 50 political stalwarts that defected to the ruling All Progressive Congress APC in Kaduna State that they will enjoy the same rights and privileges as other party members. Prominent amongst those who decamped to the APC are former Governor of Kaduna State, Mukhtar Ramalan, Yaro, Senator Shehu Sani, Senator Suleiman Hukri, the gubernatorial candidate of the Nigerian People's Party, NNPP, in the last election, and Sani Saban, a former gubernatorial candidate. The governor, who addressed a crowd of people supporters at Murtala Square at a mega rally held, said there is no difference between a party member that joined today and the ones that have been in APC for 10 years. A faction of the Labour Party, headed by the national chairman of the People's Caretaker Committee, Namidi Usman, and backed by the presidential candidate of the party in the 2023 general election, Peter Obi, and the governor of Abia State, Alex Oti, has launched a comprehensive strategy to revive the party's fortunes in preparations for the 2027 general election. The strategy, tagged Operation Recover and Redeem, is aimed at addressing the party's internal challenges and and repositioning it as a very variable force with capacity to take power from the ruling APC in the 2027 presidential election. Interim chairman of the party in Ogun State, Apagun Olaolu Samuel, disclosed this when he led a delegation of the party in the state on a courtesy visit to the Nigerian Labour Congress National Political Commission, where they expressed concerns about the party's current state. The House of Representatives has advised the public to be guided by verified information regarding the $150 million bribery allegation against 3 of its members by cryptocurrency giant Binance before taking a position on the matter. Binance head of financial compliance, Sergen Gambarian, had named 3 federal lawmakers, Ginger Olusibe, Philip Akbase, and Peter Apanke, as officials who demanded the $150 million bribe from him to prevent his arrest and persecution for alleged financial crimes. Both Agbese and Olusibe had dismissed the allegation in separate statements, vowing to use the instrument of law to clear their names. The state publicity secretary of the All Progressive Congress APC Imo State chapter, Kajetan Duke, a chieftain of the party and former lawmaker representing Ogopala State constituency in Imo State, Blyden Among, and the state legal advisor Uche Rusu, have resigned from the ruling party. Amarachi Ibe tells us more.
I am grateful for the opportunity to have served the APC Imo State in this capacity, and I appreciate the support, the trust that the party leadership and members have given to me during the term. I am proud of my accomplishment in office and what we did together. No regrets. As I have moved on a new chapter, I am excited to announce to you that I have accepted the offer to become the official spokesperson of the Mazi organization.
I have decided to leave the APC. Let me first express my profound gratitude and commendation to our national leader, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for his leadership ingenuity. To our dear Governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, for his esteemed support and rare opportunities given to me in different capacities. Of this, I have decided to partner with the Mazi organization, TMO, an NGO that is deeply committed to humanitarian services and improving the welfare of the people.
Thank you, Amarachi, for that report. Igbo APEC Social Cultural Group, Ohanaeze Ndigbo, has expressed their profound sorrow at the shocking news of the demise of Pa Ayodele Samuel Adebanjo, noting that he stood for the Igbo at the darkest time of its history. Deputy National President, General Ohanaeze Fraction Mazi Okechukwu Izingozoro, noted that Igbo sympathize with the Southwest and the Oduduwa nation for the great loss, noting that Ohanaeze Ndigbo has declared a period of mourning spanning 2 traditional Igbo market days. He stated that the late elder spokesman, passing his reverberated through the hearts and minds of those from the region, evoking a deep and collective mourning for a man whom they believe stood steadfast as a paragon of friendship and solidarity towards the Igbo. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluwemi Tinubu, has called for sustainable health financing mechanisms that ensure efficient resource mobilization and utilization to strengthen Africans' healthcare systems. This was contained in a press statement signed by her Senior Special Assistant on Media, Busola Kukui. States speaking in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, on the sidelines of the 38th African Union Summit, the First Lady stressed that Africa's economic growth and social stability hinge on a robust healthcare system that guarantees access to essential medical services for millions across the continent. We announced the Kwara State government has commenced the upgrade of 70 primary healthcare facilities across the state's 3 senatorial districts, elevating them to level 2 PHCs at a cost of 5 billion naira. Executive Secretary of the Kwara State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Prof. Nasurat Elelu, disclosed this during the contract signing ceremony at the agency's headquarters in Ilorin. The Nigerian Police Force says it has neutralized 7 terrorists and recovered 23 firearms along with assorted ammunitions in recent operations across the country. In a statement issued by the Force Public Relations Officer ACP Olumuyiwa Adebojabi says the operations were part of efforts to dismantle criminal networks and enhancing terror security. Police operatives in Kebbi State trailed the suspects to Tanda Fari Forest in Dakugari Axis, where they engaged the kidnappers in a gun duel, killing 4 of them and arresting 1 with fatal injuries. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has dismantled the trans-border drug trafficking syndicate, arresting 4 key members in intelligence-led operations. The agency's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, said the crackdown resulted in the seizure of tramadol pills worth millions of naira hidden in vehicle compartments, methamphetamine disguised as actual spare parts, and other illicit substances across multiple states, including Anambra, Cross River, Nasarawa, Taraba, Ekiti, and Lagos. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has called for the enactment of laws prohibiting possession of large sums of money at polling units. The suggestion was put forward during a consultative meeting attended by the Commission's officials, security operatives, and members of Senate and House of Representatives during the meeting. INEC's Director of Litigation and Prosecution, Tamini Mohammed, said politicians have to carry large amounts of money on election day, claiming it is for party agents and logistical expenses. Students from no fewer than 23 public universities and polytechnics have lamented the delayed disbursement of their approved institutional loans for the Nigerian Education Loan Fund as deadline for tuition payment and examinations draw near. President Bola Tinubu signed the Students' Loan Act into law on April 3, 2024 to provide sustainable higher education funding for Nigerian students. However, in response to the fund's verified post on X, students from several universities, including the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Obafemi Awolowo University, Federal University Lokoja, Ladoke Akintola University, and others in northern Nigeria, expressed frustration over the alleged non-disbursement of their approved loans. The Tertiary Education Trust Medical Simulation Committee has presented its report at the Tertiary Education Trust Fund headquarters in Abuja. Chairman of the committee, Professor Wale Suleiman, representing the report, said medical simulation centers are very non-existent in Nigeria. Ramsin Enoch Agbo was at the event for Global TV.
The chairman of the committee, Professor Wale Suleiman, and his team came up with some findings in their report, one of which noted that there is an urgent need for all healthcare regulatory bodies in Nigeria to incorporate medical simulation in the education's curriculum of their trainees. He stated that there is need to accelerate the transition to integrated training curriculum in all healthcare institutions. The committee, in its findings, said the newly established Federal University of Health Sciences are uniquely positioned to incorporate innovative education and training modules in their curriculum, such as medical simulation.
There's an urgent need for healthcare regulatory bodies to incorporate and accept medical simulation training as a critical component of continuing medical education and proficiency training. There's a need to accelerate the transition to integrated training curriculum in healthcare in all healthcare institutions. The newly established Federal University of Health Sciences are uniquely positioned to incorporate innovative education and training modules in their curriculum, such as medical simulation. The newly established Federal University of Health Sciences represent the best opportunity for incorporation of medical simulation in the education and training of new generation, emphasis on new generation of Nigerian healthcare workers that can compete on the world stage. An example is that worldwide now, nobody uses, most developed world don't use cadavers anymore. They've transitioned to computer-based training, teaching in anatomy and physiology. So that's the one big example that,
In addition to the findings, the committee came up with the recommendation that will facilitate the implementation of the report, such as the establishment of simulation centers across Nigeria, medical simulation prototype, programs and equipment in the medical simulation centers, and funding mechanisms. Suleiman, in his final remarks and future direction, emphasized that one of the ways Nigeria healthcare can leapfrog the 21st century health system is through major investment in education and training of more healthcare workers that can compete on the world stage.
I believe strongly that one of the ways Nigeria healthcare will leapfrog into the 21st century is through major investment in education and training of future healthcare workers. People can actually compete on the world stage. We're doing well, but I think the way to get us there is through this investment in innovation. It's very important. We can't continue to do the same way of training and expect that we will compete. The second one is digital healthcare, which is telemedicine and remote patient care. Remote patient care is another element of healthcare innovation that will significantly improve access. If you're a great doctor and people can't see you, what's the point? So it's right now, for instance, even in my clinic in Lagos, 20% of
the chairman, Board of Trustee, Right Honorable Bello Masari, commended the committee for a job well done.
And I think, like you rightly said, this is the future. And advanced future with education and international organization. The same future belongs to those who, I can say, are prepared, but not only that prepared, is education.
At the turn of the 21st century, it has become increasingly critical to train young Nigerians to become familiar with technological innovations. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global Television.
On business news now, foreign exchange market turnover in Nigeria declined by 32.28% in December 2024, falling to $9.74 billion from $14.37 billion recorded in November. This drop, highlighted in the FMDQ Exchange December Financial Market Monthly Report, reflects the impact of ongoing foreign exchange market reforms and broader liquidity challenges. The month-on-month decline of $4.64 billion in FX turnover came at a time the Central Bank of Nigeria intensified efforts to stabilize the naira through various policy measures. The National Association of Road Transport Owners have expressed fear over the federal government's plan to ban 60,000-litre capacity tankers following the rise in cases of accidents involving fuel tankers. The association president Yusuf Othman, in an interview with Newsman, says such move would cause a loss of 300 naira worth of investments by the tanker owners. The federal government, through the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authorities, considering placing a ban on 60,000 litres capacity petroleum tankers. On foreign news now, few heads of diplomacy can boost the longevity of Muhammad Ali Yusufu, the deputy's foreign minister since 2005, who has been elected to head the African Union's Elective Commission. Yusufu won the required support of two-thirds of the region's leaders in the Ethiopia capital, Addis Ababa, to secure the post, representing some 1.5 billion Africans across the continent. The 59-year-old was deemed an outside shot against veteran Kenyan politicians Raila Odinga, but observers have praised the career diplomat's low-key campaign to succeed Chadian Musa Faki Mohammed and head the Pan-African bloc. U.S. officials say Secretary of State Marco Rubio plans to meet Russian officials in Saudi Arabia in the coming days for talks aimed at ending the war in Ukraine. America's top diplomats will be joined by National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and the U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff. U.S. Special Envoy of Ukraine Keith Cargin said Washington, Moscow, and Kyiv would be involved in talks, but Europe was not invited. At least 18 people are estimated to have died in a stampede at the railway station in India's capital late Saturday from surging crowds scrambling to catch tennis for the world's largest religious gathering. The Kumbh Mela attracts tens of millions of Hindu faithfuls every 12 years to the northern city of Prayag and has a history of crowd-related disasters, including one month from at least 30 people died in another stampede at the holy confluence of the Ganges, Yamuna and the mythical Savyavasti rivers. The rush of the train station in New Delhi appeared to break out Saturday as crowds struggled to board trains for the ongoing event, which will end on February 26th. Hamas has freed 3 Israeli hostages in exchange for the release of Palestinian prisoners in the latest swap under the ceasefire agreed by Israel and the armed group last month. The 3 hostages handed over on Saturday American Israel civil vehicle chair 36 Argentina Israel Yair Horn, 46 and Russian Israel Alexander Tofani 39. In return, 369 Palestinians held in Israel jails were released. Over to sports now. Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn has dismissed suggestions that Anthony Joshua is considering retiring despite his recent high-profile defeats to Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois. The British-Nigerian boxer suffered a devastating knockout loss to Dubois in his last fight, leading to speculations about his future in the sport, insisting that Joshua's preparation for Dubois' bout had been excellent, making the defeat more surprising. With Tyson Fury's recent retirement announcement ruling out a potential all-British showdown, Hearn insists Joshua's primary focus remains winning back the world heavyweight title. Uganda's Jacob Kapulimo shattered the men's half marathon world record, shocking an unprecedented 56 minutes and 41 seconds. This remarkable feat saw 24-year-old obliterate the previous record by a staggering 49 seconds, marking the most significant single improvement in the event's history. Kapulimo's previous world record of 57.31 set in Lisbon in 2021 was surpassed by Ethiopian Yanis Kaljaka, who recorded 57.30 in Valencia in October 2024. And with that, we end the news on AIM News. Let's take a quick look at our top stories again. Brought to you that Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo has hinted that Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, will prosecute some of the recently impeached Edo State local government chairman indicted for allegedly looting local government treasuries amounting to over 95 billion naira. In business, the National Association of Road Transport Owners have expressed fear over the federal government's plan to ban 60,000 litre capacity tankers following the rise in cases of accidents involving fuel tankers. On our foreign scene, few heads of diplomacy can boost the longevity of Mohammed Ali Yusuf, the foreign minister since 2005, who has been elected to head the African Union's Executive Commission. And finally, in sports, Matchroom boxing promoter Eddie Hearn has dismissed suggestions that Anthony Joshua is considering retirement despite his recent high-profile defeat to Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois. And that's it on AIM News. And a quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276 and free to air on Nicomsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen by using @Global TV NG. You can download the Global TV Nigerian app for Android and iOS device to keep track of our broadcast. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good morning.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and international.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range and the latest news making rounds on Global Money.
We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Money.
Welcome back from the AM News on Global Television this beautiful Monday morning. As a matter of fact, now it's for us to get into the first conversation for the day. And we are talking about something very important today. Have you ever thought about it? Domestic workers. When we talk about domestic workers, I know your mind will go to people who are being looked down at. Some persons feel if we talk about domestic workers, there are people that have no right at all. People that can be treated anyhow. But then it's so good that the ministry, the federal government, is rising to the occasion to let the world know, especially Nigerians, that domestic staff, domestic workers also have their own right that should not be infringed upon. That's going to be what we are discussing today as domestic workers. Government moves to ensure protection. And I have my guest join me in the studio today as we discuss that. Mr. Aziz Oladapo is right here. Is a public affairs analyst and of course a financial expert. You know, when we talk about domestic workers like this, you should know that finances should be part of the discussion too, and that's the reason we have a financial expert and a public affairs analyst. It's good to have you in the studio this morning, Mr. Aziz.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, we're discussing one very crucial issue today. This is one area a lot of people don't even think about at all, because they feel if you are a domestic worker, you are more like a slave. And a lot of people look at that aspect of work as a category of work left to the less privileged. People who have no any other option anymore, and we see a lot of them being treated anyhow. So hearing that the federal government is coming up, rising to the occasion, how did you feel about it?
I think it's a good step in that direction. That is number one. Then number two, I think like I did tell people, we're in a selfish world, we're in a selfish economy. I advise you treat people the same way you want to be treated. What people fail to realize is that domestic workers are the most important people in our life, more especially for people that have these people at their homes, because you go out there, the one in your house. Like me, like I do tell people, even though in the normal private sector organizations, you see drivers, security, and cleaners are the most important staff in the organization for somebody that have a sense, that know what exactly is doing. The kind of information that these people have, you that think you have the most executive, you don't have it. When people want to get into you, the need for you is more closer to you. Domestic workers are people that you have trust some of the daily works or activities that need to be carried out in the house with, and you have gone out to work. You have somebody doing 9 to 5. They will be there. Even if you put camera in your house, it's not every part of your house that there will be camera. So if somebody is trying to get you, they can easily release some certain informations to that person. So in essence, even though if the government is not regulating how these people need to be taken care of, you as an individual, they are very important to your livelihood in terms of security. You leave your children with them. Some of them are the ones that cook your food. We've seen a lot of things going on today whereby they get into people through these people. So, and one of the keys, all these, it is not only domestic workers that government need to regulate. The truth of the matter is that Nigeria does not have this very sound labor law. We need a labor law now because of the way the economy is. If the labor law says people need to work for 8 hours, let 8 hours be 8 hours so that people can do other things. For you to be able to survive this current economic reality as far as Nigeria is concerned, in one source of income, you can't survive this economy with one source of income. So domestic workers are very critical, and there's a need for government to really regulate it, because people think people from the less privileged, that are the people that are free to be doing that job. No. They are running a service, just like the same way you are also running a service when you are working. It's a service that they are being paid for, and you need to pay them well, whether we like it or not. You know, the reality is that there is one, why I said drivers key. Let me give you a practical example. I've worked in the bank before. There's a time one of our bosses, when he's going to outside location to carry out an audit, because the woman is very wicked, the people in that branch, they now start settling the driver. Anytime they come, the driver that earns about like 50k per month, the people will have contributed money, they will give the guy 80k. They will not tell him that anytime a guy is coming, let us know. So the woman that used to go and see exemption from time to time, he now got to a point that he will go, everything is okay, not knowing that the driver has given information to the people there that a guy is coming today. So I'm just trying to explain. So all those positions that we see that they are for the less privileged, they are the most powerful. They are the most powerful. Your domestic worker is a powerful tool to you as far as your life is concerned, because life is all about information. Security guards, they are very powerful people. House help, house boy, they are very powerful people. If they really know what they are doing, because life is all about information and it's all about security. They can easily, because they know a lot about you if you don't know, and they can easily give out this information out. So apart from government even regulating it, common sense should tell us that no, these people need to be treated well. I have a friend that has an house girl. The lady eats with them on the dining. He told his wife, he said, if you can't allow this, then let the lady go. He said, if you are buying clothes for your children, you must also buy for her too. He said, the lady must also go to the same school his children is going. So it got to a point, the wife and the husband were like, the wife was saying, do you have something? And I said, no, I know what I'm doing. If you know this is not okay with you, let the lady go back to his house. But if you are bringing this lady to my house, he must eat with us in the same dining. The same school that my children is going, he must also go with them. If you are buying any clothes for her, you must also buy the same clothes for her too as well, because she's already part of the family. You are the one that say I'm more like an house girl. But if you know this is not okay with you, please let her go back to her parents' house. And that was the end of the story. So it's good for government to regulate too, so that when people now try to do above the law, we can have something to fall back to. But for me, domestic workers are very essential. Let me use that word.
Yeah, you made mention of the labor law, how labor law in Nigeria is weak. Can you just lay a little emphasis about it? I know what is happening. I know that a lot of people are working. In fact, they have to do the job because they don't have anything else, irrespective of how rigorous it is, how they are being treated. There are people, the stick and carrot approach that a lot of employers use these days. Any little thing, they fire you, no benefit. You can be working in some places for a period of 3-6 months, and you don't even have an employment later. You don't have anything to hold on to. These are some of the things that we feel the Ministry of Labor and Employment should look into.
And also Nigerian Labour Congress.
Nigerian Labour Congress, but Nigerian Labour Congress this day, well, I don't want to go there. We'll talk about that much later. But then, why is it like that? Don't the Labour Ministry and the Employment, the Minister, is he not aware that these things are happening?
This is where we need National Assembly to come up to speed. We need, the way it is now, I think National Assembly need to do something about Nigerian labor law. They measure something that some company will work in some places where 5 or 6 months they don't even have an employment. Well, that's true. We have a lot, more especially on these one-man businesses in Nigeria. I've experienced it before, where I work as a CFO and I go there, I realize that some staff don't even have employment letter and they were being paid salary on a monthly basis. It's easier for you to lay off because nothing is binding both of you together. And this is where we need regulation and compliance. We really need the labor law in Nigeria. That is the reason why we are not productive. We are just saying economic crisis, this and that. It's because we are not productive. That is why if you work with these foreign people, expatriates, if you are working for 5 hours, they will make sure they get that 5 hours value. And they respect your break time, your leave period. They respect it. But if it's 5 hours that you are giving into the job, they will make sure they get value for that 5 hours. We need labor law to work in Nigeria. If I'm closing by 4, let my 4 be 4. It must not extend beyond 4. The system should shut down by 4. So that I can take up another job between 5 and 8 of that day. We have financial pressure now. And what can reduce your financial pressure is when you have multiple sources of income, legitimate source of income. In physics, they said pressure is equal to area force over area. If you want pressure to come down, you have to increase the area, yes or no? The same thing applies to us too. Your salary cannot take you anywhere. I don't know how much people are earning that salary. I work for myself. But I know that your salaries can't take people anywhere. We just have to be productive. What can solve the Nigerian economy is for Nigerians to be productive. Some of us just have free money. Nobody is not working in Nigeria. Nobody will also address the issue of domestic staff too as well. We need National Assembly to come. We need the ministry, the concerned ministry or agency to really look into this very well. When people know that there is a law that exists, then we will be okay. You and I know. Can you carry a gun if it's not licensed?
You can't. It's not possible.
But you know if you carry a gun because you know the consequence. So if there's a law in place and people knows that no, if I treat my employee this way, there's a consequence to it, people will comply. So it's not about government regulating, it's about us having a labor law, a law that is strong, that can serve as a backup. I've experienced it too before. Why should I be working? Why should my employment letter said I should come to work Monday to Friday? Why are you asking me to come to work on Saturday? And if I don't come, you tell me or you dismiss me. Is Saturday part of my employment letter? Is it there? In the system of organization, staff will still go to work on Sunday. I work for overtime, you won't pay me for it. The time that I could have declared elsewhere, I don't income for myself. If you tell me 8 to 5, let my 8 to 5 my 8 to 5. As far as I have my KPI in place and I'm meeting up. It's when I don't meet up with my KPI that you can now start bringing up issues. You see people working 8 to 10 p.m. and they leave office, they'll get to around 11. The same thing that people wake up by 4. So that they can meet up and resume by 8 o'clock. We are just killing ourselves. And the organization doesn't care about you. The minute you are gone, somebody else will replace you the next 1 minute. And I tell people the work they finish. No matter how hard or the high service that you are doing, the work they finish. I've tried it before that it got to a point, I will get to my own 9. After having my dinner, listening to music, I will still take up my laptop and work to 12. It got to a point I stopped because I now realized that I wasn't having time for my family. So anything I do in the office, stop in the office, it resumed the following day.
All right. This is, I think, the Minister of Labour and Employment talking about the Honourable Megere himself. Talking about Muhammad Megere Dangidi, he has said something very vital, that these people, especially the domestic workers, are vulnerable, just like you said, but they are very important as a matter of fact. Before now, we can't say they are not aware of it, but why has the government been very quiet about it? And you made mention of NLC. I said, okay, NLC, we'll talk about them later. Nigerian Labour Congress, sometimes you see them fighting for things that does not step down. And even these people in this category too have also looked at the domestic workers as maybe just mere people who just needs to be treated anyhow. Somebody told me a story some times back where somebody employs people, just gets them into the house. By the time you get into the gate is locked 24/7. I think, unfortunately, or should I say fortunately, he got a job with that person, that individual, and he was also supposed to be in there, such that the people working there cannot get out of the house anymore. So they had to be begging, so maybe hide in the booth so that you can walk through the gate and escape and all of that. These things are happening. What do you think the authorities, Ministry of Labour and Employment, NLC, ILO, and the rest of them, what do you think they need to do to stop all of this? Or is it not stoppable anymore? Is it not in the Constitution? Because employer, if like, thank God you've been there. If you look at what happened between employers and employees in some organizations, you feel bad yourself. So why the silence? Because sometimes you see these things written on paper, but the actualization of it is what we're talking about. So why the silence until now?
You know, I said something before I started. I said, this is a selfish world, it is selfish economy. Go and look around. Most of these people that we are talking about, are they not beneficiary of what we are talking? Do they have domestic staff? That is the question. It is when it is not them personally, they now know, okay, we need to voice out, we need to make a change. It is because it has not happened to them personally. Like you said that, you know, they are vulnerable, you understand? And the people who I feel could have risen up to this occasion is Nigerian Labour Congress. But you know, Nigerian Labour Congress of today, I don't really want to talk much about it, but they are not really fighting for what they should fight for. That is just the typical truth. What they should hammer on, they are not really doing it. To be honest, it's just a selfish world. Not that these laws are not there. If you dig down, they are there. But like you said, actualization. And that's why I'm saying we need National Assembly to rise up to this occasion. Because they are the representative of the people. To say no, we need enforcement. Now, it's not about bringing the law. It's about enforcement and compliance that we need now. How can we enforce this thing? How can we ensure compliance to this thing? You know, when I tell people, I'm working for you is a mutual benefit. It's not one-sided. I'm rendering a service and you are paying for that service. It's mutual. It's not one-sided. But most employers of labor in Nigeria today feel that the moment they've employed A or B is one-sided. They are providing that person a vehicle. If you can do it alone, you will employ me. Somebody owns this organization. If the person can do it alone, he will be employed. But he knows that he can't be everywhere. So he gave you that platform, and while you are running the service, so he has to pay you for your time. So it's mutual, it's not one-sided. But that is what most employers of labor fail to realize. In every organization today, your human capital is key for your survival and sustainability. But we look down on that aspect. So what we need is thorough compliance. The law is there. How can we work more on it and ensure there is absolute compliance about the law? Because truly this thing is happening a lot. I told my wife that I don't want to have an housemaid. We had an issue about it and I said no, I don't want it, and I have my reason. I don't want it. See, it's a selfish way. The way you will treat your own child, it's very hard for you to treat another person's child in that same level of magnitude, except if you are somebody that has this high level of 100% conscience, which is not possible. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Even if you have a junior brother, or that you are from the same mother and the same father, and if the son is staying with you, with your own, there will definitely be some light of difference, because that one is your blood. It came from you. That is just selfish word. You know when I say selfish economics, selfish word, it varies. You understand? It depends on the perspective of how you are looking at it. At times you are selfish, you don't know, or mainly. You understand? So it's just about compliance that we need. We need proper regulations that will be fully implemented, that will protect every Nigerian worker. It's not just domestic workers. What some people are facing in their organization, molestations. Some guys will say until they sleep with social person before they will elevate that guy, and the girl said no. Before you see, they'll start frustrating the young girl. Why are we having that kind? And the young girl will be like, no, if I leave this job, I will have no fear of unknown. Is what is killing us Nigeria. If I leave this job, how will I survive? So many things. You see some people, because they are writing a professional course, their boss is not writing that professional course, they'll start victimizing that staff. Why? Does it say you should not upskill yourself?
Oh, all right.
So, you know, what you search, this is a very comprehensive issue. So it's not just limited to domestic staff alone. And what can regulate is when we have that law working that can actually regulate and safeguard everyone. I I go angry before I say I won't work for anybody again. Yes, I took that big risk. And I didn't have any money saved in my bank account. In fact, my wife was even pregnant and she was even asking me, I hope you are not following me from the village. I said, no, I'm not working. I just decided, I said, I'm not working on that day. And I went home. I started from ground zero. But alhamdulillah, the story is a different one today.
All right, let's look at what will happen, the area of redress. An aggrieved house help, an aggrieved staff, because most times some persons will tell you the judiciary is no more the hope of the common man, the last hope of the common man looking at the happenings around. And aggrieved, because we have a lot of them listening to us right now, okay, that have had experiences, but they don't have where to go to, or probably they don't know what to do. And some of them are dying in silence, like you said. Some persons don't have any other option, no other means of livelihood. So they just needed to be there so that their life can be going on, despite, irrespective of the torture, the treatment, the maltreatment, and everything going on. So is there any way people like that can find redress? Is there any way they can get out of that situation? You already talked about the fear of unknown. How can that be addressed?
Life is about risk. And not even taking a risk is also a risk itself. Like in Lagos, I think Lagos have public complaint, something where...
Yes, public complaint commission.
Yeah, where...
It's everywhere. We have in Abuja.
But also I think there's other places where if you don't have money to hire a lawyer or something, they can actually stand in for you. You know, this is where we need Ministry of Justice to come to play. Whether if a particular desk can be created for this purpose, that's okay. If you have any issues or something, you can make a complaint or write to that particular section that should be created, and they take it up from there. So I think Ministry of Justice needs to come into this kind of aspect and create something within their ministry to be able to address this kind of issues. So for me, that is the way I see it. Okay. Yeah, we need to have a functional government.
The functional government is all we need to get into what we are supposed to get into as a matter of fact. All right, so let's quickly, finally, as we try to round up, as it is right now, the bill, we're talking about a bill here, all right, from the Ministry of Labor and Employment. Now, do you see sustainability in the passage of this bill, if this bill is being passed? Can we sustain the bill to protect the rights of vulnerable domestic workers? You said something very vital. It's just like, this is the person responsible. This is the person, because they all have domestic staffs in their houses, all right? It's just like, okay, can someone be a judge in his own case? A lot of them are guilty of what we're talking about. So what would you say about the sustainability? Can it really work?
There's nothing that can't work if we want it to work. There's nothing that can't work if we really want it to work. It's just about us. I tell people, nobody will come from anywhere to solve Nigerian issue. Nigerian problem is really, the solution is within us. We are ready. Nigerians are not ready. That's the difficult. Nigerians are not just ready. What is Nigerian Labour Congress doing? If we have a bill like this, who should be the one to carry placard and say, no, we need this bill to be passed? But some of them too also have domestic staff. Like you said, you can't be a judge in your own case. You come to equity, they say you come to equity must come with a clean mind. Equality defines equity. Do you understand? So we are not just ready. And it's because some of them are not victim. If they are, they will do what they are supposed to do. We are not just ready. That is just a typical truth. Like I've said, it's a selfish world. It's a selfish economy. Okay, look at what happened towards end of last year. Even when we now start having Dangote refinery, that will now begin to hear that Port Harcourt is working or is working. policy still paid up to. Look at the numbers of years that we have been saying turnaround maintenance, and there's nothing to show for it, and billions of naira.
People are there taking salary.
And people are there taking salary, and billions of naira is being voted. Are we ready? Nigerians are not ready. Even though the common man, we are not just ready. When we are ready, nobody will tell us. All of us will adjust. It's just a matter of time. They say the economy is hard. Let me ask you a question. On Friday, do you try to drive around Abuja on Friday night, Valentine Day? Did you drive around 10 a.m.? Did you?
I think that happens almost most Fridays.
No, apart from most Fridays, but I'm just trying to talk about, it was Friday 14.
I was on duty.
You were on duty. Ask any of your friends that were outside on Friday night between 11, 12. Or people, or December last year, between mid of December and January 2nd, what happened in Lagos? Around Lekki, VI, Ajanko, Ikeja. We say there is no money. We are all deceiving ourselves. The money is there.
It's in the hand of few.
That's why I'm saying Nigeria, we are not just productive. So no matter how bad an economy is, there are still some opportunities that we can annex. I'm talking about productivity. See, I like to be practical. I'm a consultant. But as I speak to you, I'm into cassava production. I sell Gary. I have a friend of mine who is an external auditor. He also sells fish, catfish. He has a pond at the back of his house. Something happened one day. I was selling Gary to him for 2 kg of 6,000 naira there on that day. He also sold his own fish to me for 1 kg for 10,000 naira. I was not telling people around me that both of us have our main job. But these sales that we have made, he has made a sales, I've also made a sales. And it's an extra income. No matter how small an income is, it's going to subsidize one of your key expenses. That both of us, we are now being productive at our own space. Nigerians are not just being productive. Okay, imagine a youth couple that is using iPhone 14 or 15, which is a phone above 1 million naira. And it's only 70,000 naira. He now comes to you and say, Uncle, please, can you give me 500,000? I want to start up a business. Will you borrow her?
The money is there. Go sell the phone.
Exactly. Because you can still use your phone of 200,000 and invest that 800,000 without maybe selling peft to your colleagues or selling back to your colleagues. No matter how you will be making small income, and that income will still subsidize some of your expense. That is the aspect of productivity that I'm talking about. We are not just ready. The solution are there.
Even though we have some persons who are ready but don't know how to go about it. Apart from the privileged ones, because all fingers are not equal, but one can always start from somewhere.
Sure.
But there are people who don't really know how to get started. Like some persons don't even have a phone right now. Like the challenging economy that we are facing right now, some Nigerians cannot even feed. Some can't even think well and all of that. So how do we draw the line between people who are not productive and people who want to be productive but doesn't have the means?
Like I said, in this life is about, what you don't know is above you. That's number one. You need to keep asking questions till you get the solution. You need to show. You see, I like being practical. As far as Africa is concerned, nobody is ready to invest in startup. People invest in business. You have to turn the startup to a business first. People invest in business, nobody invest in startup.
Wow, that's the word for the day. That's a key word.
So the reality is a selfish word. Failure is an orphan. Success has so many fathers. You have to stand on your own that no, I need to break through this door and I'm going to break through it. Some people feel that if I help you today, you will grow, you will be loyal to me again. They see the potentials. That no, if you support this guy business idea with the way he's going and he succeed, this guy will be a top notch tomorrow. No. There will be the one that will want to kill that your dream. So you must carry your cross yourself and pray to God that no, God, I need to get this thing done. God, show me the way. If you rely on people, you are just deceiving yourself. They've seen the prospect in what you are doing Many Nigerians have business idea. Our problem in Nigeria is working capital. So many young chaps have business idea, but they just need that startup funds to kill. That's why I blame some that are using gadgets above 1 million. Why can't you sell your gadget? Buy a smaller one, invest the money in that business idea. By the time the business begin to generate appropriate return, you can buy that required gadget that you need for yourself. You can start from somewhere. You know the problem again that some people don't even want to start from somewhere. They want to start from something big. It's 1 naira that make 100 naira. 100 naira make 1,000. 1,000 make 100,000. 100,000 make 1 million.
So invariably, this domestic staff, if you're tired of being victimized, there is a way out. That's what you're trying to say.
Yes.
You can even gather the little you're collecting as salary
and start from somewhere. I have some people, this, because that is painful, some of these smaller northern guys will go and collect pure water on credit. They will sell. They make a margin. They will pay back the person, the supplier of votes. They take another back again. They will go and sell. Although they should be in school, but they are productive. At least the little income that they are getting, they are working for themselves. They can fix for themselves. One bright man took me last week. He was telling me that this local vigilante I did do before, and they were paying me 20,000. When I calculated it, I realized I was just getting 800 or 300 per day. That I was able to save money to buy this bag that you see me driving. You see, as I'm talking to you now, I will do weekly contribution of 8,000. My mom was sick. I was able to treat my mom without asking anybody for money.
That's a good thinking Nigerian.
You have to start from somewhere, but we want to start big. It doesn't work that way. Even though Dangote, the top Nigerians who are billionaires today, they have a humble beginnings. Go and check.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Aziz. Well, time is not on our side. This is a topic that if we want to go into some other areas, we won't get that today. You know, we've not even talked of NLC, of their role, their filling roles, and the time of the likes of Oshomole and the ones that we have now. We've not even talked about the area the federal government have taken their eyes away. We've not talked about private individuals, the treatments they made to their staff and all of that, even though we just do a little scratch of it. But then maybe some other time we may be having this conversation again, but time will not allow us to continue right now. A very big thank you to you for throwing light, a big thank you to you for making some Nigerians know that there is a possibility if you really want to make it happen. And once say we hope to have you some other time again.
Thank you for having me.
All right, viewers, this is going to be the size of the first conversation on Global Morning today. Domestic workers, domestic staff, employees who are not having it juicy. They are right, and if this bill is passed, at least the Ministry of Labour and Employment is rising to the occasion, and the minister have said so much. We are waiting for what will actually happen at the end of the day. Coming up next is the next conversation. What's biting hard, apart from the challenging economy, the charges coming from left, right, back and center is something. It's just like taking out of the little that Nigerians have. And that's going to be the next discussion on Global Morning today. We'll return for the next conversation after this break. Stay with us.
Global Morning is your top morning show here on Global Television.
We bring you fresh news updates daily while delving into a variety of current affairs and topics.
A Global Morning aims to deliver newspaper reviews and latest news with experts on key global issues.
And at the same time, keeping you well informed about important events, both national and internationals.
Global Morning serves as a valuable source of information, helping viewers like you start your day well informed.
Stay connected from Mondays to Sundays to a wide range of the latest news making rounds on Global Morning.
What's your problem? We're on the road to protest.
The president meets all of our demands.
This is Global Morning.
Welcome back from that break. The second conversation is hitting the road immediately. I don't know, but then so many things. This is Nigeria. You know what is happening. Challenging economy. Some persons are finding it rosy. I said something that everything that happens in Nigeria, if you know how to maneuver your way and you know what to do, like the guest before now has said, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and that has been the message of this administration. Don't forget that by-elections happened in some states in Nigeria, the off-cycle election, if you want to call it, in Ondo State, in Edo State, and one very particular thing, people's eyes have been on these governors, people that came into offices, and of course, some have spent a few months, some have spent 3 months, some have spent 4 months, and as the case may be. But then, there are some that have not even started very well. Let's take, for instance, go to Port Harcourt, talk about Fubara. It has been from one case to the other, the court judgment and everything. Get to Edo State, some persons are singing the praises of Pebolo. Some persons will point you to things he has done, more so that he just hit his 100 days in office. And some of the persons, as a matter of fact, there must be some people that will say something negative, other people will say something positive. But then we might be looking at all of that area today. Then our focus, as a matter of fact, is the hardship. We've not finished talking about the things happening around, as it has to do with the charges coming from the POS. Before you know it, it's ATM. Before you know it, it's telco. The money is not there, but the little that Nigerians have, somehow it's been taken away from them. Some persons are alleging that, hey, this administration, how is it happening? Are you giving and taking? The challenging economy was still taken. But then, in some states, they are smiling because they have good governors. But what about the states that don't have good governors. Joining me on the conversation today is, of course, someone that has actually been on my program before. I decided to speak with a socio-economic expert today because you can't separate our social life from the economy and what is happening in the nation at this very particular point in time. Joining me on the conversation is Haruna Brimo. It's good to have you join me on the conversation today.
Thank you very much.
I've not seen you this year.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
So I should be saying Happy New Year.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the conversation. You know, this is Nigeria.
Yes.
The charges, you know, people are talking about, you must have heard about the telco charges, you know, then now it is ATM charges. But one thing is the fact that Nigerians are saying the hardship is so much. Why all these charges, you know, additional to this, all these charges are coming in? I don't know. Are Nigerians asking for too much?
Thank you very much. The question is, are Nigeria actually ready to bear much of this? We are getting to a point where almost resistance to some of these policies is inevitable. But on the other way around, we hope and pray with the way the policymakers and the government agents are trying to implement these policies, it does not weigh much in burdens on the populace. As it affects the ATM, let's dwell on that. It was, if you go deep in the analysis in the statements or the issued policy statement of the CBN, relying on sections 10.7 of the banking finance and non-banking finance guides of 2020 as amended. They created provision or like a soft ways for those using ATM from same bank where we pay like zero charges, while they pep up the one for the on-site and off-site. For example, if I'm going to be using my ATM outside my bank, if my bank is Zenith Bank and I'm using a UBA ATM, I will be affected by this increment. But if I'm using Zenith Bank, which is my bank, I will be charges free totally. You see, the good thing about some of the policy coming out of Buhari, Tinubu administration, is like it's always embedded with some cushioning impacts. It's telling you can do your transaction free when you are using your bank with zero charge. But when the ATM you are using is not your bank ATM, you will be charged 200 naira for every 20,000. And when you are using ATM outside the normal banking arrangement, maybe you are using an ATM that is in a shopping mall, for example, a place of transaction that is not banking, I think that was also pep up too. So the implementation process now should be how the CBN will ensure that those banks have enough to drive the efficiency so that most people will rely on because what takes some persons to other banks is when your bank failed you. If I go to any bank ATM machine and it fails to dispense cash to me, somebody will tell me, FCMB they pay. The inefficiency of Zenith Bank is driving me to go and incur where I'm supposed to enjoy free service. Because if I use my Zenith Bank, if I had used my Zenith Bank ATM, I'll be paying zero in charges. But since it's inefficient, it's driving me to go and use FCMB now, where I'll be incurring charges of 200 naira. You see the whole interplay.
That's an instance. He's given an instance.
Then that is what the policy is talking about.
Yes.
That you are going to be getting free.
I'm trying to say, well, you're not.
And it's just an instance. But what the CBN is generally saying is, because a few months ago they evaluated and investigated some of the money banks, they discover a very, very alarming ATM management poor efficiency, which led the CBN to give it to all the banks or some of the affected banks, was about 1.3 billion naira as fine. No bank is paying less than 130 to 150 million in fine for ATM inefficiency. You understand? To drive efficiency, you are complaining that your cost of diesel to power the electricity cost, diesel, whatever is that is their own excuse. Cost of managing or cost of efficiency is what is making them to be inefficient. So to get part of those costs, the government is now saying, through the CBN, is now saying, okay, can the nurses bear one part? In return, are you going to give them efficiency?
Yeah, that's major, because
you understand,
if you're paying more, you should get
exactly
service.
What you take me to another bank's ATM, even if I go to a shopping mall where I'm supposed to use another ATM material, I will be paying more. If my banking app is efficient on my phone, I'll do my transaction with my banking app. I'll see, I've read it. So it's a balanced arrangement, sort of. But you know, Nigeria will always go for the clickbait aspect of any issue.
Because of the hardship.
That's what I'm saying. I said, you remember the beginning of my conversation. I said, I hope we will not have resistance issue. You understand? Because there's already hardship. Every little thing to stabilize the system is being perceived. And unfortunately, we are in a very volatile political situation where we politicize almost everything. In other clime where things are working, small increase in charges of ATM and all these monetary concerns policies are not what warrant national outcry like this. But because the system there is working, we don't even know that these things have increased.
And the money is there.
Exactly. They don't even know. It's not necessarily the money is there. An economy can be inflated, but if it's not productive, it becomes an issue. That is productive economies, where almost everybody wakes up in 24 hours. They give almost 18 hours to working two, three jobs, working their ass off. You understand? That is a productive economy where almost every citizen earns living. They earn it. Nobody dashes anybody. There's no voodoo expectation. There's no ritual expectation. There's no Yahoo expectation. Everybody wants to earn income. Either you not categorize yourself based on your capacity. Am I a low income earner? Do I belong here? Am I an average income level? Do I need to be an investor? Do I need to be a business? It's a classified society. But like ours, that is still very growing, and with a lot of challenges bordering on infrastructure, it is also an infrastructure issue. The poor infrastructure in the system is what the bank is also giving as excuse, unfortunately, to own up their own inefficiency. And to make up, the CBN is also saying, okay, to cut the cost of this inefficiency, let's share it. You bear this, but on the premise that you render efficient service. At the end of the day, the reason for it by the CBN is that these banks will render efficient service.
All right, let's wait and see how efficient the services of the banking sector will be. Telco's own is still there. They can give you a data of maybe 100 gig, and you are not even able to use 10 gig out of it. Now, we are hammering. The reason why Nigerians are even asking for intervention is because of the hardship. But then, this hardship is relative. You may go to places like Port Harcourt. Some persons are feeling the heat. Some other persons are saying, well, this governor is doing very well. You can go to a place like Ondo State. Some persons will say, oh, this governor that just came to sit is doing well. Okay, a clear example now. Let's just talk about Edo State a little bit. Where we know, all of us know the circumstance and everything that happened during that election. I was telling someone, I said, the hardship in Nigeria, it's as if the people of Edo were trying to make a change. The election was more like a presidential election, and Okpebholo actually emerged. And this hardship, Nigerians are complaining of this hardship because they feel some governors, some states are not even trying at all for their citizens. But then, eyes have been on the governor of Edo State, even though we've had one or two persons even complaining about the hardship. Do you think if the governors are doing well, for instance, if the governors are doing well, every allocation coming is being used the way it is supposed to be used, would we have this kind of hardship that Nigerians will be complaining? You said something very vital. If the system is working, no one will even complain of ATM charges. So what's your assessment of governors in Nigeria? Because they are very close to the people before we even talk about the federal government.
Yeah, I think basically I'll be using my states, Edo States, as a case study, and it should also interest the public and Nigerians to know that it's 100 days on the 12th of this month marks 100 days governance, practical governance. When I use the word practical governance, governance that is driven on IMAC, you know, what is going on in Edo State now, it's almost across stratas revolutionary governance, from infrastructure to the economy to health to education, just as he promised on his during his inauguration. You understand? Governance for the first time in recent years, in more than 10 years, we are having governance that is linked directly with what I said I will do and what I am doing. You understand? That alone creates that sense of joy among the populace, among the citizens of the states. And during one of his interview on BBC, he said he was going to reactivate the rural economy, the microeconomies. If other state governments can take a cue from that and actually drive policy that activate microeconomies, the peasant economy, the local economy,
the hardship will reduce?
Definitely, because that is the nexus. It's not about the macroeconomy. The macroeconomy is the responsibility, is just to galvanize the happiness across the micro. That is macroeconomics. Macro is at the federal level, built around fiscal design of the federal government to harmonize whatever is going on across the state in Nigeria. But when it's across the state is not existent, which is the macro, then what is this federal government? No effort of the federal government will really yield a good result. Back to Edo State. Today we are talking of loans to interest-free loans to market women. These market women are not white-collar job seekers or workers. These are regular across 18 local governments, touching their lives. Imagine a typical market woman going to a Lapo to take a loan of 2 million. I remember these people give you loan at 30-something%, 20-something%. And they remove the interest from the principal before they give you. At the end of the day, that 2 million may be 1.8 million when it gets to your hand, after they must have removed their interest ahead. That means as a market woman, you are going to be turning over 1.8 million to generate, first of all, 2 million that is in the books that you borrow. Meanwhile, 1.8 million got to your hand before you now begin to generate your profits. Well, Okpebholo is coming to say, come and take interest-free loan with a small moratorium of some period.
So as it is right.
So that is how to activate the economy. Now, how do you also activate the economy? Infrastructural revamping. Today, Edo State has become a huge construction site. For the first time in recent years, after Adapto Shomole, we are now seeing practical governance on road infrastructure. We know the debacle, the crisis of Benin Auchi Road. We know the crisis of Abuja, Lokoja, Benin Auchi, Benin Saple Road, Benin Saple Wari Road. This road construction has been awarded since 2001. Constantly being awarded. We have ministers of works, ironically from Edo State. In the 16 years of the former PDP era, and that road, the monies were awarded, the money were appropriated for that road and nothing happened. So now, the same governor is coming to liaise, okay, we can partner with the federal government. Let us key into the tax incentive arrangement of the federal government. We state that some of the companies that are owing federal government company income tax should rather use the money to engage in infrastructure. It's not limited to BUA. Dangote is doing it, MTN, UBA. They have concession arrangement. What you are supposed to pay to the government at the federal level as taxes, you need to execute a particular project or a particular infrastructure, which is having the same value as your possible tax liability. You understand? And he had meeting with the president and graciously approved. Meanwhile, the former governor was playing politics with this. Okay. And today, that road, that road is having massive attentions. It's being shown on television. That is just the federal aspect. Look at the Saple Road, axis of the road, the Saple Road, that was being shown on television. The same TV station should also go and see what is going on. For the first time, Benin City is wearing a new look of infrastructure right now with the massive work going on at the first major flyover. That is at Rama Park.
That is a big state now. Nigerians are complaining of hardship.
When I started, I said, let me use if other states can be tuned into practical governance. We're talking of no money. We will make mention of no money. But since the removal of fuel subsidy, no state governor has been able to tell us that we are not receiving huge allocations. Removal of subsidy has benefited the state governor. Are they actually using it? Because the removal of subsidy does not mean President Tinubu should be sharing the subsidy grace, because we now have much. In fact, constitutionally it has to be shared across the tiers of government. The state using it. In Edo State, for the first time, we are seeing it. Even the 13% derivative backlog that Buhari paid, we never saw anything. We asked questions, we cried on television, and that Obaseki should account for it. It was never. Accountability should be matched with the job you have done with it. Transparency and accountability goes together. You cannot tell me you are accountable on paper, but you are not transparent in what you are doing with the money. If you tell me you spend 3 naira, what is the value of project value of 3 naira you use it for? Come taking it to the Edo State government. The current government, we are seeing practical accountability in project delivery. Right now, 200 days in office is undertaking 100 schools renovation, reconstruction, and revamping across the 18 local government. 100 to 900 days in office. Okay, hold on for. Are we going to be talking about the civil service reform?
Give me a minute now. Let me bring this to fore. We're talking about the hardship which has forced Nigerians to say, well, this ATM charges is too much for us. The federal government needs to do something. Now you're given an instance that it is not just the federal government alone that can calm down the hardship that Nigerians are facing, and you're using Edo State as a case study because you are from there, probably. You are from there, probably. You are from there. Now, let's look at other governors. You said something about monies that have been going there and nothing is happening. Which way, how do Nigerians hold this governors accountable? Because now you're saying television stations should go right to Edo State and pick up some of the things that the governor is doing. What about people that are not doing it, that are in hardship?
We have a lot going on the social media also. It's not limited to television station. But first of all, let me address the Nigeria issue. We have what is called social contract. Social contract is the contract that exists between the government and the governor. Because before you ask of good governance, you should understand social contracts. You understand? The man you expect good governance from, do you have a social contract with him? During the electionary, when you were being convinced to vote for him, or when you felt you were convinced to pursue his agenda by voting for him, you have relinquished your legitimacy to him, to hold in trust, to render stewardship in governance. Stewardship. A society that lacks social contract will definitely cry and seek for good governance almost in perpetuity. So we got our teeth right in those states. We realize that we've not really entrenched or put our feet on the ground when it comes to social contract.
Just give a little explanation of what social contract.
Social, everything that has to do with social governance, ranging from your social infrastructure, education, your civic duties and responsibility to the state and the expectation from the state. Do you understand all this? So when a political office seeker comes to you during election that he needs your votes, you have to look at his manifestos. What are the programs of this man that seeks my vote, whether at local government level, at constituency level, senatorial level, House of Rep level, or governorship level, even presidential level. Match his program with your expectation. Is his program flowing with my own expectation of what I understand that I need from government? If I feel that his program matches my expectation, then I'm casting my vote for that person. Then I'm giving him, I'm exercising my power, my franchise, the right I have to give him my power to rule over me. But today, we give our powers to people to rule over us by just 2 naira. By giving us 2 naira, without actually looking at the manifestos of the person. What can this man offer? What has he told me he is going to offer? How do I match what he's telling me with my expectation, or what I understand about my needs? I know that as entrenched in the schedule, in the second schedule of the Constitution, that is the responsibility of states. It's an objective of states to provide free and compulsory education as far as the 1999 Constitution is concerned. So is this man that is seeking my vote promising me, in his program, does he have what it takes to give me that free education? At least from primary to secondary, under the Universal Basic Education laws of Nigeria that is being implemented. Is this man that is seeking my vote flowing in that direction? What is his educational policy? When it comes to enabling environment infrastructure to make me a good citizen, to be able to drive my state policy of self-empowerment economically, where I can be an entrepreneur and engage other people, is this man seeking my vote, telling me that he's going to provide the infrastructure that will make me not rely on government peanuts, but to be a contributor to the real GDP of my states?
All right, we're rounding up because...
and I think those are the things we are benefiting right now in Edo State. We saw a government, an Okpebolo, that was coming to revolutionize a lot of things. And he actually flew with the majority. He flows with the majority of the people's social contract needs. Our needs in Edo State was just a government that will come with sense of accountability and transparency in the delivery of good governance across infrastructure, revamping, education, agriculture, and local economy.
All right, finally now, let's conclude because of our time. What would you have to say to Nigerians who are crying because of these ATM charges? Remember, it's not just because of ATM charges. One, there is a hardship on ground, a challenging economy that everyone is faced with. That's on ground. Then these charges is coming just to take out of what they have. We've already established that, well, it was looked into and it's been shared between the banks and, of course, the masses. But right now, what would you have to say to the average Nigerian who is struggling and who must compulsorily
unfortunately we have a society that is whose majority of people are sorry to use the word, we have a amnesic issue, you know, and we are very selective in those amnesias, you know. Before you know now, we forgot about this, we are driving another issue. This is the right time for Nigerians to, we have the majority of civil society organizations and NGOs. Take CBN to task. If after 3 months, the banks are not efficient in driving the policy or dispersing of the excuse you gave to Nigeria was efficiency of the ATM management. It is still the same that today you come to this bank, they'll tell you no fund, check the other bank, no fund, check the other bank. Then we have the Consumer Protection Council of Nigeria. Unfortunately, it's not domesticated across states. The NGOs, we have the setup. What are they doing? This is when to come. It's not to criticize the policy. Be part of the implementation process. Implementation is one of the biggest pain in Nigeria. It's not about policy formulation. It's policy implementation. If they are deviating, then we hold the central bank responsibility. That is also part of the social contracts.
All right. Thank you very much. Well, it's been a very wonderful time. I think subsequently we will go check out everything you've said. We will check it out. Remember, we are the ones bridging the gap between the government and the people, the media, of course. Well, let us know what's happening in your area. Is the governor meeting up to standard? Is he increasing the hardship? The local government council chairman, the local government autonomy is there. Are they meeting up to expectation? This is time for us to cry out. It's good that the cry for these ATM charges is coming up, and we hope that something is done about it because the economy is really challenging. Thank you very much, Mr. Bino, for coming around on the program.
It's always my pleasure.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, before we bring this global morning to a close, let's go on a quick break. When we return, we will be rounding it up. My tag team is going to be here, and we will let you know what's coming up next. Stay with us. We'll return after this break. Welcome back from that break. Well, it's been very, very intensive right here. Getting to know that Nigeria's problem is not just the bank charges.
Yes.
Apart from what the banks are doing, people in governance also have roles to play.
Exactly.
The reason why Nigerians are even complaining is because of the dwindling and challenging economy that we're faced with.
Of
the
course.
hardship, or else, if the money is there, take whatever charge you want to take.
Exactly. And of course, let's get value for our money is very, very important. Not the one, it's not in cases whereby you actually increase the price and we don't get value for our money, it's a problem. And like you said, the avenue for us to make these monies, and if we have these monies in excess, we won't complain about the hike in any way or the other. I know that we have to end the program Global Morning this beautiful Monday morning, and of course my tag team were here. Hope you had an amazing time with us. I am Jumai Mansin and my tag team partner.
My name is Ramsey Enoch. Thanks for staying with us. Have a wonderful day ahead of you, and don't forget that coming up next is sports. Talk Sport is right. We're going to be coming after this time.
All right, you have an amazing day. Remember, we have an app. Global Television has an app on our iOS device, on our Apple Store, and of course the Play Store. All you need to do is download, and you can listen to all our programs, watch all our programs live anywhere around the world, even in Nigeria. Have an amazing day ahead. And Ramsey and I, we say bye-bye.
Welcome to Global Morning.
Death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure. If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature